some more things that I need to take to the consignment. I'm really weeding through all of my stuff, and the dog's making noise in the background if you hear. So I have some things that I want to take to the consignment, some things that I've tried on, things that just don't work with my body anymore, or they don't, I don't care for them anymore. So a couple of blazers in here. I'll flip the camera around in a minute, but I have a 3 o'clock appointment to take these things to the consignment. My stuff arrived at the Real, so if you want to go shop it, it should be up in a couple of weeks. So yeah, that's the plan today. I'm kind of going to be a homebody today. I've been feeling under the weather, and so has my husband. I don't know if it's like a sinus infection coming on. I'm not sure, but we've just been feeling really exhausted, and like something's coming on with our sinuses. I did make an appointment on Monday with my primary care physician. The vertigo, that I spoke about in my video for menopause, it's getting worse. Maybe not worse, but the frequency is it's increasing in frequency. The other night I was just sitting there watching TV and I had a spinning attack. It usually happens when I'm watching TV or I'm sitting at my desk and I'm working. So I'm going to go get that checked out. I don't know if it's a symptom of menopause, if it's an inner ear infection, maybe. Medicine related, maybe my high blood pressure meds. We need to take a look at that and maybe change that up. I don't know. So, husband's like, get to a doctor, please. So I'm going to do that on Monday, and I'll let you know what happens there. Okay, so hopefully you can see some of this stuff. It's like a set from J. Crew that was a blazer and short set. I'm not really into these colors, the light colors. I told you before I like, neutral colors. These shorts don't fit, so I'm taking those. This is a navy blazer, collarless blazer from J. Crew. I like it, but it doesn't fit around my huge chest. So that's going to go. And then another blazer back here and a couple pairs of black pants. And I talked about that before in my videos with, I don't need 500 pairs of black pants, when I have all of these. These are my pants. So most of these are either Old Navy, J. Crew, Banana Republic. There's skirts in there too. And a lot of these pants too are Vince. Now Vince used to make, they used to cater to plus-sized women, but they don't do that anymore. So yeah, that's kind of unfortunate that Vince will not. I used to buy a lot of stuff from Vince. I thought Vince had really good quality pants and a lot of pieces and cashmere sweaters and stuff like that. Really nice things that lasted. And they quit catering to be inclusive, size inclusive. Kind of shitty. It's really hard for us plus size women to find quality clothes that don't look like a tablecloth, aren't drenched in gaudy flowers, or made out of material that is so thin that it just breaks down in the wash after the first time. It's hard. I choose to go to like Veronica Beard for blazers, J. Crew, some of my blazers. Tucker Nook is another one for dresses. They have really good quality dresses, and they are size inclusive for plus size women. But it's hard. It's hard for a plus size woman that wants to spend a little bit more, wants to have options that don't look like gaudy teenager, not that teenagers are gaudy, but like the teenager look. I'm not going after that. That's not what I want. And I don't want gaudy. So it's tough. It's tough when you're full figured or you're plus sized or both. And the things that you want, the nice tailored pieces that you want, like look at any of the tailored skirts on Prada. I would love to be able to fit into a Prada skirt. I really would. But, you know, I have not been a thin woman since I was a teenager. You know, and it doesn't matter whether I'm on Weight Watchers or whatever type of, you know, watching my food intake, watching my alcohol intake, all of that. I am hourglassed. I am full figured, and I just can't fit in designer type clothing. It just doesn't work with my body type, you know, and maybe that's why I tend to go for the designer shoes and the designer handbags, because it kind of scratches that itch of being able to have something luxury, but not being able to fit into the luxury clothing. The other thing that I am doing today is I am preparing for our neighborhood garage sale. We have probably, I'm gonna say, over 600 houses in our neighborhood. And twice a year, they have a community garage sale. And I am trying to unload some of our junk. You know, in our move to Mexico next year, you know, we can't take this all with us. We're still trying to decide what we want to do with the things that we really are attached to. But the things that we're not attached to, the stuff that we've just accumulated over the years, I'm going to try my hand at the garage sale. Like, I know I need to price things lower for a garage sale. You know, people come up, will you take a dime? No. No, man, that cost me $50. I will not take a dime for that. But the thing that I like to do with these neighborhood garage sales, I've participated in one or two before, is I like to post them on Facebook Marketplace. And, you know, since it's a community thing, more people are attracted to coming to your yard or your, you know, driveway and purchasing from you like that, instead of doing a Facebook Marketplace sale, you know, where it can be kind of intimidating and you have to go up to somebody's door, you have to meet them in a public place. If you just got all your shit spread across the yard, then I think it's a lot less intimidating. So I like to boost up, you know, the advertisement of our garage sale by putting it on Facebook Marketplace. And it worked the last time. We had people that saw it on Facebook Marketplace, saw certain things. Like, my husband was selling a guitar last time, and we had somebody come by and who had seen it on Facebook Marketplace and gave us the price that we were looking for, you know, instead of trying to nickel and dime us. So that's one of the things that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna flip the camera around and let you see all the shit that I'm selling. Okay, here's the crap. All the crap that we're selling. Oh God, it's stuff that, some of it is a little bit of a mix of antique stuff. I'm trying not to put too much of that stuff in there because, you know, people, like I said, they'll want to nickel and dime you on the stuff that you have. This is not everything, though. I'll show you some more stuff. But, you know, we're kind of using the dining area as the staging area for all the stuff that we want to sell. So then we have this armoire. Yeah, I still got to go through all that crap too. This became our storage facility. So yeah. So the other thing I need to do today is I need to do some actual work, you know, for my company. I created their website, and we've got a page that's changing, that's completely new design. And I need to get that put in place and redirect the old page to the new page, and also do some footer redirects as well. So the reason why I'm doing it on a weekend is because I don't like to do major changes like that on the website when the traffic is higher, when potential customers could be online, and when we could have, you know, higher site traffic. So plus I need to check all of the little things, you know, like all the naming conventions and the SEO, you know, to make sure Google finds everything. So that's something that I have to do today too. I don't typically like working weekends. Who does? But I feel like that is the best approach for my company, is if I do this either this afternoon or, later at night or earlier in the morning. Like I said, my company's out of state, so there's a time difference as well. So I'm just trying to time things when there's the least amount of traffic on the site in order to do this changeover. Other than the consignment store, I did want to try to run a couple of errands today. Again, I'm not feeling great, so I'm not going to be out and about all day. Well, I can't do that anyway, not at this age and this stage. I want to go to the Asian market and get some sushi rice. And then I need to get some lettuce from Aldi. So I could go to Publix or Walmart or, any of the other types of grocery stores to get the lettuce, Sprouts even. But I find that Aldi's lettuce, not only is it cheap, the green leaf kind, it's only like $2.50 a pack, but it has the least amount of bugs in it. I don't know what is going on with lettuce these days, but yeah, it's a real turnoff when you have to wash your lettuce and see all the bugs in it and stuff, and yeah, I don't want to do that. So I find that the green leaf lettuce, barely anything, any kind of activity, bug activity. The other thing is, if I was feeling a little bit better and wanted to be out in this heat, it's 91 degrees here, I would go to the garden center. I have to replace all of those flowers that were in planters along the fence. Well, while we were in Mexico for the week, they all died. They all burned up and died. And, thank goodness I didn't spend too much on them. I think they were like $1.78 each. So, under $20. But still, I got to replace those. And the ferns didn't do well either. Again, they all burned up in the sun because I wasn't there to water them. So, I think I might wait until next weekend for that. Just because, being out in the heat like this, especially when you're sick or not feeling well, it's not a good idea. And I wouldn't be able to do anything with the plants that I got until I was feeling better. So, but just wanted to give you a garden update because, the plants died. A lot of stuff is doing well, but those things, the planters along the fence and the 2 ferns, didn't make it. And I'm sorry you guys always have to see the back like this. I've looked at several of my videos and I'm like, gosh, there's like beer in the back, there's crap in the back seat. I always have my seat folded down. So even though I like a bougie car, it's a workhorse for me. This car is definitely a workhorse, and I am always lugging something or another in the back there. So apologies for this. This is just my lifestyle. Quick chick, I'd like to get the Lauren's lemon basil, please.
Of course.
And crackers with that as well.
Sounds good. May I get you anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
All right, $57.98 at the window.
Thanks. Okay, getting ready to go into my doctor's office so I can address the vertigo and joint pain. Left the keys in the car. How about the memory issues too, Nikki? So we'll see what he says about that. Okay, I just got done at the doctor's, and I'm really glad that my husband pushed me to go. Not pushed me, but was, please go, honey, please. So, I have an inner ear problem. The vertigo is not due to menopause, it's an inner ear problem. I have fluid built up. He did a simple test where I laid back on the table, I turned my head, and then I looked at the ceiling, and he asked me if I am getting nauseous and dizzy, and I said yes. And then he did it on the other side, it wasn't as bad. And he says, your eyes are flickering. He's like, I forget what term he used, but he said, your eyes are flickering. Sorry, I've got something in my eye too. Says your eyes are flickering, and you have fluid built up in your ear, and we're going to treat it with a nasal spray, and it's running into your sinuses as well, which explains why I've been having that pressure. He's like, all of that pressure builds up into your head, and if it's on one side, then your brain doesn't quite know what to do, and that's how you get the vertigo and you get the spinning. So good to know about that. Hopefully we'll treat it. I think it takes a couple days, but hopefully I won't have any more of these awful dizzy spells, because they're horrendous. They really are. And he says it's allergies. It's caused by allergies, but I don't know what I'm allergic to. You know, I've had an allergy test before, but it's been years. It's when we lived in Connecticut, and they didn't really find that I was allergic to anything. I had like seasonal allergies where, you know, I'm pent up in the house during the winter time, and they didn't really find anything that I was, you know, that sent me off the charts or anything. The other thing that we talked about was the joint pain. And the joint pain, so I got labs done to see if, just to rule out like lupus, and to rule out any kind of aggressive arthritis that attacks the bones and attacks your joints. So I should know in a few days about that. Hopefully hopefully that's all okay. But he's going to give me an anti-inflammatory prescription. That's been called in. The other prescriptions that I'm going to be on is, we talked about hormones for the menopause. I think it's time. You know, we went over the risks. I won't get into my family history with that, but, you know, we went over the typical risks. And, you know, he says every woman is different, and, you know, it's a decision that you have to make. You know, if there is history of like breast cancer and stuff in your family, immediate history, you know, then probably not the best thing to do. If it's, you know, down the line, or no history, you know. So we went over those options there. Again, I don't want to get into that, but I'm going to go ahead and get onto some hormones, and we'll see if this helps. I have gained 10 pounds, which doesn't surprise me, because with the joint pain and the menopause symptoms, I don't have energy to do hardly anything. You know, I don't last very long when I go out of the house. I don't feel like riding my bike anymore. I don't feel like walking the dog like I used to. You know, there's just a lot of things that are going on in my body, and he's like, well, this won't help with the weight gain, but I'm like, but it would help probably with the energy level, and hopefully it does. So maybe I can start to enjoy some of the activities that I used to like. Maybe. So we'll see how all of this works out for me.